Oh, the date is February 28th, 1987. And Prickly Pears this time is at the home of Sophia Maloof in Palm Springs. Sophia Maloof came to Palm Springs with her family in 1938 to go into business on Palm Canyon Drive. And today we're going to chat with Sophia Maloof and her son Gerry Maloof about their experiences in those early years and the things that happened to them as they were in business and as a family here in the city of Palm Springs. No, I think probably we ought to go back and begin at the beginning and ask you, Mrs. Maloof, about yourself. Where did you come from originally?
From Los Angeles.
Were you born in Los Angeles?
Yes.
And you grew up there?
Yes.
And how about your husband?
He was in the old country.
He was in the old country. And how did you meet?
He came out here, saw me, married me.
He took one look and decided he liked that pretty well. When were you married?
Here,
How long ago was that?
right after he came, after 3 weeks,
I see.
4 weeks.
Were you in business first in Palm Springs?
No, he was.
Where did you open your first dry goods store?
Oh, he-
apparel store?
He came, he came out, or
You came to Banning after you were married, weren't you?
we,
Was your first store in Banning?
no, we moved to Banning.
Mm-hmm.
And we stayed there for a couple of years, and we came out here to Palm Springs.
Mm-hmm. So you were in Banning for a couple of years?
Yes,
Mhm. How did you decide to come to Palm Springs? What looked good about
Well,
Palm
you want to
Springs?
know something? You know Harry Matashio?
Yes.
He had the, what do you call it, the boarding house, not boarding house,
El Dorado
El Dorado
Hotel.
Hotel. And he came to Banning and asked us to come out here and open up. So my husband says, I don't know, maybe I will and maybe I won't, but I got a store for you to rent if you want to come. So Papa, he was thinking it over, and he said, I'm going to think it over. So he says, I got a store, a nice store for you to come. So he asked me, he said, what do you think? You think we should go to Palm Springs? I said, I don't know. I don't want him to pay me if we do come. So he says, let me think it over. So we came and we looked at the store. It was nice. A lot of people were coming. So finally, he came out here and he saw the fella, Mr. Matashio, and his wife. So anyway, he said, all right. He said, we'll take a store. So we came out here and looked at the store again. So anyway, we looked at the store and he said, you think it's nice? I said, well, it's all right if you want it. Let's just think it over. So we went home to Beaumont, and he asked me again, he said, you think we should have it? I said, it's up to you. I said, I don't want you to blame me if it doesn't turn out good. So he said, fine. So we came out again and we saw Harry and we saw his wife. She's the one that wanted us to rent the store. So finally he told her, he says, I guess we'll run it. So we came out again, we told Harry, yes, we're going to rent it. Then we started packing up, brought the merchandise out here. So finally we rented it.
And you had your store here.
Yes.
Had you started your family by then? Did you have
Oh, we
children?
had family already.
Gerry was around at that time?
Yeah, Gerry, and his sister.
Mm-hmm.
So we...
How old would you have been at that time, Gerry?
I was 5 years old when we moved to Palm Springs.
You probably don't remember too much about those very early years.
Well, some. I mean,
He remembered the boys he used to play with.
I remember quite a
Yeah,
bit
I know
about
you
it.
did.
What kind of a store was it when you first
A nice
opened it?
store, a big store. We had everything in it. We had shoes, tennis shoes, Levi's. We had everything in it. And people used to come over and say to us, why don't you move a little closer downtown, a little closer? Well, there was no vacancy, so we could move until we bought the place that we're in now.
Well, now the El Dorado, was that where the first store was
Yes,
located?
El Dorado was down down below, and the apartments were upstairs.
I see. Now that was just about a couple of blocks south of where you are
That's
now.
all.
And
2 blocks, 1 block.
1 block.
1 block.
Where First Interstate Bank is now.
Mhm.
what was Palm Canyon Drive like then? When you first opened your store, what other kinds of places were there?
There was hardly any, were they?
Well, I think Licken's department store was the only other store.
That was the
And we were
Yeah.
like a junior department store too then.
Well, what was along the street in those days?
But it's paved, it was just...
Well, Palm Canyon Drive was paved, yes, but
Yeah.
the plaza, which was just completed about 2 years earlier,
Hmm.
and that was like the first shopping center in Palm Springs.
The old plaza.
Yeah.
We think it was the old downtown plaza.
Yeah.
now.
Hmm
Was Zach Pitts operating it then? Or?
No. Zach, I believe Zach's father bought the plaza right after World War II.
So that was developed by somebody else at that time.
Mhm.
How about the hotels along the way? You mentioned the El Dorado. What were some of the other hotels along the street?
Look, small hotels. They're all right, but they were small.
Yeah, but what were the names? Do you remember some of them?
No, I don't remember.
Like the Del Taquich, you don't remember that?
Oh, yeah, Del Taco.
And the El Encanto?
Mm-hmm. And El Encanto.
Uh-huh.
That was about a block further down.
The El Mirador was here.
Mhm.
The
Desert Inn was
Desert Inn
here.
would have been open
Yes,
then.
uh-huh.
I guess that was what.
No, Desert didn't have these shoulders.
Desert Inn was open, Mom. It was right in the middle of town, across from
Desert
Licken's
Inn,
department.
but I'm talking about way down there
Mhm.
where the hospital used to be.
That's the El Mirador.
Yeah.
Mhm. What did people do for fun in those early days?
I don't know.
Just
You didn't have any. You were working all the time.
Palm Springs had gambling then.
That's right, it did.
Yes.
What kinds of merchandise did you carry in your store? When you first
Everything.
opened?
We had shoes, pants, coats, everything. We had everything.
Did you sell anything in those days that you don't sell now? Did people need like more cowboy things? And
We still love
Oh yeah,
everything.
Western was big in Palm
Yeah.
Springs then. We don't
Wow.
carry Western now.
I see. And you and your husband ran the store.
Yes. And I had to be right there with him.
Yeah. So you were really part of the store from the beginning.
I didn't want to, but I had to.
How did you like being in Palm Springs in 1938?
Beautiful, nice, very nice. We had to go across the street. We found field of flowers, and people used to go out there too. Used to do a lot of things. Easter time, the kids used to go out there. Terrible. Easter now, they're doing something with it.
So across the street from your store was just an open field.
Yes.
How many people were there in Palm Springs?
1,500, 1,800.
I don't know. She says 1,500 to 1,800, I would imagine.
Mhm.
She's pretty close to
That
it.
many. But were there a lot of seasonal visitors and tourists? then?
Yes, not like now. Before we had a lot of people coming in, but now a lot of people coming in, they call them snowbirds.
That's right.
Snowbirds.
Who were your customers then? How did you manage to have a successful store with so few?
Well, we have customers that used to come over to, in Palm Springs. They used a lot of people used to come to Palm Springs.
Mhm. With some of your old customers in Banning?
Yeah. Some of a lot of our Palm Springs people used to come. They used to call them snowbirds.
Mhm.
Snowbirds.
You managed them with really a very small market area.
Yes,
only
very
50 to
very
100
small.
people.
Yes.
What did you do in the summers? Did you close the store?
You do too. You close.
Can we close and go to Idlewild in the summer?
Yeah, that's right. We went to Idlewild.
Mhm.
We rented a little house, and we stayed there. And there were a lot of people.
Used to take some of your merchandise up there and sell it in the old Idlewild Inn, remember?
You opened up a little place, and you had jeans.
Western wear and all that up there.
Everything.
So you had a little store up in Idlewild?
Yes.
Where did you and your husband, Mrs. Maloof, learn about operating that kind of a store?
Well, we learned very well while we were in Palm Springs when we
In
came.
Banning.
I mean,
Banning.
yeah, Banning.
Had he been in this kind of business most of his life before then?
Sure, he was in business when we were Block Island. We lived in Block Island. I went one year and a half, and then we came here in Block Island.
So this had been something he'd always done.
Yeah, oh yes.
But being in business, of course, means a lot of risk, doesn't it?
That's right.
And trying to operate the store. So there was really not much else along Palm Canyon.
No,
And you didn't have any competition.
No, we don't have nothing. Now we have lots of it.
No, there was some competition.
Nobody else was selling clothing and apparel in those days.
Liggins did, and wasn't.
And Desmond's had opened in '36.
Desmond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were part of the Plaza original development.
So they were actually here before you came.
Yes.
Well, they were competition then. I was going to ask where the ladies went to buy their clothes.
And we had ladies.
We had ladies.
Oh.
Some things, and they would go to Desmond's. There were some things there, that beautiful things there. So, and Bullock's across the street.
No, Bullock's wasn't across the street. It was in the Desert Inn.
Oh, that's right, in Desert Inn.
You got to watch then during those early years a lot of important things in Palm Springs. We're going to celebrate our 50th anniversary.
When?
And it's coming up next year.
Uh,
And do you have any memories of when the city decided to be a city and incorporate? Were you involved in that?
I don't think they were involved because they just moved here that year, and I think it incorporated maybe just before they got here. I don't know.
Who do you remember, Mrs. Maloof, as some of your friends in those days? Some of the people.
I don't have any friends. I was so busy helping my father.
Your husband, not your father.
Yeah.
Jerry, when did you become involved in the store?
Well, I was just kind of raised in the store because during the war, World War II, they didn't have too much help. All the men were in the service, and we couldn't get enough help in the store. And so my sister and I were just kind of part of the store in our childhood. So we kind of grew up in the store. I mean, I started waiting on customers in the store when I was 11 years old. That was during the war, and they needed help, and so we, my sister and I, worked in the store and after school and weekends and things like that.
When you came, you were 5, so you were just about old enough to start into school. What was the school like at that time?
Well, I started at Francis Stevens School, then in my first grade, and I stayed at Francis Stevens School until my 3rd grade. And in the middle of my 3rd grade, they transferred me to Kauai School. It had just been built. And because we lived on south of Ramon Road, and all the kids that were in Francis Stevens were transferred to the new school, Kauai School. So I went from the 3rd grade to the 6th grade at Kauai School, and then went to the junior high school, Nellie and Kaufman, which was then right behind the high school, and then through Palm Springs High School. So I had all my all 12 grades in Palm Springs.
Who were some of the earliest teachers that you can remember being with?
Oh, in grammar school or in high school? Or
Do
what?
you remember back to grammar school?
Well, I can remember one lady that was very nice to me, and her name was Miss Gilbert. She was a school teacher there at Kauai School. And then I had, naturally in the high school, I remember Paul Summers, who was very nice, and Mr. Greeley was our principal. Coach Bella was our coach in football, and in fact, football, baseball, basketball, everything but track he did.
Were you involved in sports at all?
Yes, I played 2 years of football in high school, Palm Springs High School.
Do you remember any of your teachers at Francis Stevens?
No, I don't. I guess I was either too young or I wasn't a bit interested. I don't know which.
Who were some of the kids you remember being around in those days?
You mean in the real young life, or?
Well,
Well, I kind of grew up with Gary Sanders. He lived, You know, we go to school together and things. And Dee Dee Hines, who has Exxon service station here. And let's see, Jeremy Crocker went to school with me. And let's see, Don Hinson, who has a business in Palm Springs now.
One of them died, poor thing.
Let's see, who else was there? Trying to think of the people that might be in business around Palm Springs now. But we had a good time in my childhood. Used to play sports right out in the dirt streets and on arenas and after school and things like that.
That's right, and ride horses down the main street, I'll bet. What was Indian Avenue like then, Mrs. Maloof? Was there anything along Indian when you first opened your store?
I don't think so.
Well, there was Hatchett's Market, remember that?
Hatchett's Market.
Right behind us, that's where Ken Parker's TV is now.
Oh, goodness.
And
was that where you bought most of your groceries?
Yes.
Did people grow very much down here then that you could buy? Like, you know, down in Coachella now they have big farms.
Oh, tight.
oh yes, well, Coachella was booming then in farming.
Even in those days, so you could buy that kind of thing. How about getting the kids dressed and ready for school? Was it about like getting the kids ready for school anywhere?
The kids, that's done.
No, he's talking about Joyce and I getting us ready for school.
Oh, getting me for you? I thought well, yes. You had to get clothes to wear to go to school, sure.
And all the same problems. How about some of the other business people around town? Did you get to know any of them at all?
Did you?
Well, I mean, Carl Licken was here then. He was very nice, friendly, and
they were awfully nice.
Everybody knew everybody on the street. I mean, it was very small.
Do you remember
one bank on Palm Canyon Drive, and it was Bank of America, and everybody knew everybody going to and from the bank, or you know.
I guess that's true. Who was running the bank in those days?
I don't know.
Bill Boyd was running it, or
probably in the early days. I remember Fred Ingram because in the later days, you know, and when I got involved more with my dad in business, I remember Fred Ingram.
How about Mrs. Kaufman? Did you ever get acquainted with her?
No, not very much. She had that big hotel right in back there, you know, right there. No, we didn't get acquainted with her very much.
I used to hear a lot of stories about the woman who owned the Del Taquas Hotel, too.
Oh.
They said she had a lot of dogs.
Is that right?
Yeah. She had some kind of special dog that she raised.
I didn't know that.
Were there many celebrities in town in those days? Movie stars?
Lots of them. They used to come in Palm Springs and stay overnight, and they used to, we used to see a lot of them. Now we don't see any of them.
Do you remember any of them who'd come in your store? Who were your favorites?
I couldn't tell you. They come in and they go. What's his name? Frank Sinatra used to come, and what's his name?
Bob Hope used to come in.
Yeah, Bob Hope used to come.
Used to buy clothes for his kids from us.
Is that right?
Charge account with us.
Well, he would have had his kids here too then. That sounds exciting. Gerry, when you began to work in the store, what were the principal kinds of things you carried in those days?
Well, the store made quite a few changes. The late 30s, or from 38 through about 1950, it was like a department store, men's, women's, children's, shoes, everything. And then and Western wear was big. And then we kind of changed our look after we moved into the building on 186 South Palm Canyon Drive. We kind of changed our look there and went into just men's and men's and boys we had on one side of the store, and we had a lady shop next door. And then in 1963 we rented out the lady shop and just kept men's and boys. And then in 1973 we eliminated the boys wear and we went just men's. So the store has had to make changes with the times.
I suppose that's true. Well, you carried ladies' wear then too.
Yes.
What were the styles like in those days?
Just like they are now.
Were the skirts long or short?
No, just the same. If you want them long, you can make them long. But they were very nice. We had nice ladies wear and everything.
Ladies' fashions change so much.
Oh, you're not telling me.
I just kind of wonder what women like.
And shoes too, we got rid of the shoes.
Did you ever carry the shoes that buttoned all the way up, the high button
No,
shoes?
no.
Or was that?
No, that's been a long time ago.
That was before your story. How about for the men's wear? Did you carry many bow ties in those days?
We carried bow ties, sure we did.
I bet Francis Crocker came and bought bow ties.
Yeah.
He would come in and get that.
If he's sick, I don't see much of him.
Yeah, well, he's not sick, but he had a fall a while back and it kind of hurt him a little.
Oh, too bad.
But he's doing pretty well.
I don't see much of his wife.
I think of his bow ties, though. Who were some of the other famous people that came in? Any movie stars? You mentioned people like Bob Hope and Frank Sinatra. I'll bet you saw a lot of them.
We saw a lot of them are in our books too. We send them bills when they tell us to send them to, so we did.
What did you do? Where would you go for dinner? Were there good restaurants in town in the late 30s?
Harry Batashu, we went over there. You know where Harry Batashu? And
what kind of a restaurant did he have?
rice restaurant.
He had an Italian restaurant.
An Italian,
Yeah,
Italian food?
right across from the Chi-Chi downtown.
Oh.
It's very good food.
Well, that
It's
would
where
be
Ruby Dunes.
That would be where Ruby's Dunes.
Yeah,
was located.
yeah.
Well, did you go to? Was the Dollhouse open then?
Yes, we went to the dollhouse once in a while.
Palm House was open then.
Farmhouse down
Chi-Chi was open.
South.
And I think it was called the Circus Room then. I'm not
Remember
sure.
Jack Freeman? Did you know him at all?
Sure, I see him once or twice a month. He stops in and buys something.
Do you remember Mrs. Maloof, the old Freeman's Desert Grill? It used to be where the Chi-Chi was,
Yes.
and that was a good place to go. And
Yes.
how about other things that you had to go shopping for in those days?
I didn't go shopping. I went grocery shopping. That's all.
Where would you go for, like, was there a drugstore then?
Well, we went to one or two local drugstores, yes. But we didn't buy very much.
There would have been the one down in the middle of town then, I think.
Well, there was a drugstore next door to us when we bought the building in 1943.
Oh, was it?
There was a drugstore in the corner called Tockwitz Pharmacy.
Let's see. Well, that's fascinating. And you just really pretty much stayed in the store then and stayed with your husband and worked with him in those days. What were your hobbies? Did you
I
or
didn't
he
have any.
hobbies?
I didn't have any. I was working.
Well, you had children to take care of, too.
I didn't take care of them. They took care of themselves.
Well, they seem to have turned out all right.
Yeah.
Did your husband have any hobbies? Were there things he
No,
liked to
poor
do?
thing. He didn't have anything. He stayed in the store all the time.
You never got involved in riding then? Or
No. The children, yes, we would get a horse for them and bring the horse and they go horseback riding.
Do you remember much about what the kids did for fun in those days? Or?
No, I
Well, they had the theaters and had the matinees, and we'd go there on Saturday matinee. And
Were there two theaters then, or were there more?
yes, there was the Plaza Theater and there was the Village Theater, and the Village Theater had Saturday matinees,
Oh.
so the kids would go to the
How much
Village
did it
Theater.
cost?
Oh boy, I don't know. I think it was 15 cents or
yeah, I
something
was
like
just
that.
going to say that.
If I remember right, I'd get a quarter to go to the show, and that would take care of a Coke and popcorn and going in there.
I remember when I was a kid, it used to be a nickel. But I think I'm a little older than you are. Did the kids get together and go on picnics and things like that those days?
No, I didn't get involved with that. If they did, I didn't know about it. It was everybody knew everybody. It was just a lot of fun. I mean, you know, we like I say, we'd play baseball, football, whatever, right out in the streets because they weren't paved, and it was a lot of fun, swimming and things like that.
So you had a lot of activity, even though it was a small town.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Did you miss some of the things you'd hear about in the big cities, though?
Well, I didn't miss it because I never had it. I mean,
How about the cars you drove? What kinds of cars did you have in those days? Do you remember your car that you had, Mrs. Maloof, when you came to Palm Springs?
I remember it. It was a Packard. Was it 1937
And
Packard?
then we bought a now,
Chrysler,
yeah,
1942
and you
Chrysler.
ruined it.
What were your biggest problems in being in business then? What were the hardest things about it?
We didn't have any home.
Well, I think the biggest problem they probably had was that their market where they bought things was Los Angeles, and to go from Palm Springs to Los Angeles was like a 4-hour drive in those days, 4 or 5 hour drive. And they had to go in and do their buying and get merchandise for the store.
I had to take my little girl and my little boy with me when I go buying.
Let's see.
Hmm.
Did you do the buying? For
Yes,
the store?
yes, I had to. My husband, he had to stay in the store while I went.
So he stayed and kept the store open while you went and took care of it. How did you know what to buy?
I worked it there. Pants and shirts and coats and everything. I bought everything.
Was it up to you how much you would buy? of
I
it?
know how much to buy because we know how much business we do.
Mhm.
Well, I think in those days, Bill, everything was so staple.
Hmm.
You only bought, you sold something, you replaced it. Dress shirts were white shirts, and pants were one kind with, either khaki pants, Levi's, or something like that. You fill in the sizes you need, and dress pants were just plain. Everybody wore the same kind of dress pants,
There wasn't much
and
difference.
that's right. It was so basic that you just bought as you sold. You replaced your inventory, so it was kind of nice. You didn't have to really go to shows and look at new styles or anything else. You just bought the same thing over and over and over.
I guess that's true. Do you think clothing now is more colorful than it was then?
Oh yes, and the styles. You've got to be right on top of it now.
Is
You've
it-
got to be right on
Is
top of
that
it.
even true for men, do you think?
Oh
Has it
yes,
changed
men's.
that much?
They're coming out with new things now. They want men to wear pleated pants again, and I've been fighting it, but I guess now I have to start carrying them again. Double-breasted's coming back in again. They're trying to narrow the lapels again. They're trying to narrow the ties again. They're trying to do. I mean, they have nowhere to go but backwards. They go back and look at. Well, it's been 20 years or 25 years. It's
Not
time.
bad.
Time to do those styles over again because the generation today didn't get a chance to wear them, so now they're ready to wear them again.
Do you think men were stuffier in those days?
Yes,
Their apparel?
they were.
I remember my dad had a brown suit and a blue suit, and they were both dark colors,
That's right.
and that was it. And you never went out anywhere without a tie.
Yes,
As you say, shirts with any color in them were rare. Everybody had white shirts.
that's right. Yeah.
That was true. When did you phase the store out of the women's wear business?
1963. My dad had his first heart attack about that time, and in the summer there was a party came to see my dad about renting one of the stores for a lady shop. And my dad said, "Well, look, why rent you a store to be in competition with me? I'll just sell you my store next door, and we'll close the wall off, the partition off, and you can have the women's department, and I won't be in competition." And everything worked out, and they bought it, and we closed the opening between the two stores, and just put men's and boys in the one side, and that was it.
When you first bought the property there, Jerry, did you own the property all the way to the corner?
Yes, Mom and Dad bought that property in about 1943, and it was 100 feet on Palm Canyon Drive by 145 feet deep. And then in the back, where our present parking lot is now, there was a nice home. It was a quite large house, and so we ended up moving in there, and they sold our house on Morongo Road, and part of our childhood was we were raised behind the store in that house.
You really stayed close to that store always.
Well, I tell you, it wasn't easy. You had to, if you wanted anything those days, you had to work for it,
Why did you feel, Mrs. Maloof, that would be a good investment, that property at
My
that time?
husband thought it was. He wanted it, so he bought it.
Oh, I see. And
Yes.
how did you feel about it?
Fine. I told him it's fine. He wanted to buy it.
Well, it turned out pretty well.
I never stopped him from buying anything. If he wanted to buy it, let him buy it.
Do you remember the old, I think they used to call them dude ranches, the hotels?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Biltmore,
Yeah.
places like that. What were they
B-Bar
like?
H.
What were they like in those days?
They were nice. They were really nice.
Did they still have gambling when you came to town? Were there still places?
Oh yes, there was gambling here until about
Mhm.
1950, all the way through the war.
Did you ever try your luck anywhere?
Well, my dad kind of liked the slot machines, if I remember right.
What did you think of that, Mrs. Maloof?
I thought it was nice. Slot machines. They only stayed a little while and they went. You know that.
Did you ever try?
No.
You weren't going to try your
No,
luck?
no. Mm-mm.
Were there places to go and dance, though? Did they have music?
Yes, they had quite a few, but I didn't go.
They had the Palm House,
Mm-hmm.
Dollhouse.
And when the Chi-Chi opened, of course, then there was a new kind of entertainment.
That's right.
Poor guy, he's gone. The big hotel he built.
Schumann.
Yeah.
Yeah, Erwin Schumann.
That must have been fun, though, to go and see the big stars of the...
Yes, I should say. People used to go there just to go see him.
What was the street like when you bought your first store? Did they have sidewalks then? And you know, was it paved all along, or was it...
I don't remember. Really, I don't remember.
Well, Palm Canyon Drive was paved and had sidewalks because we have a picture of the original store and it shows the sidewalks.
But I'll bet Indian Avenue didn't.
No,
We
it
still
was
got
dirt.
picture of Batashu's when they knocked it down.
Yes, I have it in the store, the El Dorado Hotel.
I haven't seen it. We still have El Dorado Hotel. Matashu's hotel and Matashu's no, their eating place. He's the one that did it.
Italian restaurant. Did you spend a lot of time in that restaurant?
No.
You didn't really eat out a lot.
No, we didn't like to eat out too much. We ate out when we were so busy we couldn't get out to eat.
What was Banning like when you were there? Do you
Oh,
remember much
go
about it?
see it now. Go see it now.
That's what?
Banning,
Yeah.
go see it now. It's terrible.
It
Well,
must have been a much smaller town when you were there.
Oh,
well, Banning was quite larger, quite a bit larger than Palm Springs then,
No, I guess it would have been.
because the people from Palm Springs had to go to Banning to do their shopping.
They went there to go to school too.
That's right.
In the earlier years.
So Banning was the place at the time.
Were you
That-
ever sorry you came to Palm Springs? Did you sort of wish you'd been back home again?
no. My husband was very glad he was in Palm Springs. He asked me, he said, you think it's good to leave and go back to Banning? I said, no, please don't. Let's stay where we are.
Had you come down here very many times before you opened the store here? Did you know very much about the town?
No, Matashu, he and his wife came to us, and he said, you know you're going to take money out in Bareful. Bareful.
Did that happen? He had quite a large family too, didn't he?
Yes, he did, but we don't know any of them now. We don't know what happened to them.
Well, some of them are in business here.
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
One of his grandsons has a hair salon here.
And
That's
what?
right. Yeah. Nick's.
Nice.
What you
Mhm.
got?
Pat's still around.
Yeah. And isn't Nick still around? Pat's brother.
Yeah, he's still
Mhm.
around too.
Mm-hmm.
But then there were several large families in those days, I guess. I remember,
We don't see much of them. That's why we don't know too much about them.
do you remember Peg Wallace? Did she ever come in your store?
Who?
Peg Wallace? She used to own a home down Arenas. Still does, as a matter of fact.
Maybe she does. I
She
don't
had a
know.
school there at one time. That might have been a little earlier. She
Maybe.
came around 1920,
Mm-hmm.
so that would have been a little bit earlier. What else do you remember about those days that you think was especially fun?
Oh, you mean in the?
In
The early days of Palm
the
Springs?
Early days, yeah.
Oh, I think because the town was so small and you knew everybody, it was just so more friendly. Everybody was a lot more friendly because they kind of relied on each other to make it go. You know, I buy from you, you buy from me. Everybody just it was real nice that way.
Where did you go to have things like work done on your cars in those days?
Oh, there were garages here.
Was
Yeah.
it Mal's Addy Bunker's place? Or was it-
No,
No.
that was there was a garage down on Sunny Dunes Road. I'm trying to, Harold's, was that the name of it, Mom? Where you used to take your car to get it fixed?
Yeah, Harold.
Right behind Floyd Bigley's station there. Floyd Bigley was on the corner, he had a Gilmore station on the corner of
I don't see
Sunny
much
Dunes, and right behind there was a garage. I think it was called Harold's Garage. He used to work on your car.
Maybe. It's been so many years ago, I can't remember anything. When you get old, you forget, Jerry.
Well, it sounds like you had a lot of fun though in this town in those days, and enjoyed life, and had a good store and a good business, and so on. You smiled. I didn't think about it. As far as your school days were concerned, Jerry, is there anything else you remember about school in those days that was especially interesting?
Where's your teachers?
I already told him that.
Oh.
That was interesting or unusual?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we had a lot of fun in school, and it's.
Do you think school was different then?
Oh, I think so. I really do. We had open campus, and had to go if we go downtown if we wanted to go eat at high school.
And nobody cared.
No one cared as long as you got back in time. And the cars were parked right out in front of the high school, and it just.
Do you remember when you started high school about how many kids were in the school then?
Oh, gee, I would guess my freshman year, I would guess about 300.
So
Because my graduating class of 1951 only had 80 in it.
So it would have been about 300 total. Well, it surprises me there would have been that many almost, really.
It was 4-year school, so in the 4 grades, probably 300.
Well, the town would have grown a great deal by then, of course, from the time when you started school.
Yes, I started in 48. Let's see. Yeah, 48. I graduated in 51. That would be 4 years.
You saw a lot of changes take place over those years along the street and in the development of the business community downtown and so on. When did it begin to be a good thing to do to stay open in the summer?
Well, we started staying open in 1965. Before that, we would close for 2 months in the summer. Not that we probably wouldn't make it in the summer, but because of the fact that when you're working, 7 days a week through the season, then you needed a nice vacation, so you'd have to take 2 months off. And if a few people closed, the ones open would survive better. So you just can't water it down that much.
Mrs. Maloof, do you remember when you first went into business here and during those first years you were in business? Did you think about the season in those days very much? Did that have an effect on your business?
Our season only in the winter, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, our winter.
Well, naturally, season was better than the summer.
Yeah. So was the town more seasonal then than it is now?
I don't think so. I think it's more seasonal now.
Do you really?
I really do, because in the old days we had the local people, and very little of the tourist business, and so therefore they kind of helped you out through the summer, winter. Either it's just that the weather got unbearable in the summer, without refrigeration, and we had those old desert coolers, and people wanted to go somewhere where it was cooler, so all the local people would kind of try to close up at the same time or get out of town either in July or August or both. But other than that, the local people supported you here.
So the stores then didn't have any refrigeration in the summer?
No.
How did you keep the store cool?
With a desert cooler.
Water cooler.
Yeah, water cooler.
When did you first put in refrigeration?
We put refrigeration in about, I'd say about 1960.
And that probably was an investment you almost had to make.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, if you were closing in the summer for 2 months, it really didn't. You had June and July, June, which was unbearable, and September maybe, but that was it. But
I see. How about other places? Did the movie theater, for example, have refrigeration?
oh yeah, the Village Theater had refrigeration all in the old days, and that's everybody wanted to go to the show to cool off.
That's how you kept cool. Is there anything else you remember about those days you'd like to share with us?
No, I think we pretty well covered it.
It It's always interesting to talk with people who were in business here then and who really were a part of the community, because the town was so different. It was so small.
Yeah.
And you think of it now as a major world tourist place where people come from all over the world.
Has anyone approached you about
What?
one next door to us, Desmond? Anybody want to see something about Desmond?
I don't think we've talked about it much. Who was the manager then? Do you remember? Who was running it?
No, I don't remember who the manager was. Bob McKenzie came in about 1950, I think. But earlier, when the store first opened, I don't know who was the manager.
How about the big store across the street, Bullock's?
Well, I saw that built. That was built right after the war, about 47.
Oh, was it?
And they built that in about 1947. I think it was the first store in town to have an elevator, if I remember right.
That was an unusual event, I'm sure.
And it had a full basement. It still has a full basement. It was refrigerated. It was the state of the art.
In those days,
Yeah.
that's true. How about Leo Baker? When did he go into business down there?
Well, Leo Baker
He was
used to be
big-
around the corner at Sales Market
Oh,
in the plaza. He had the deli there. He and Leo Baker and Sam Stewart. It used to be called Sam and Leo's. And then they moved across the street from us in about 1950, I guess. I don't know. There was a house across the street, and they tore it down, built the building there, and put their Sam and Leo's deli in there and liquor store. And then I guess Sam and Leo split up, and then it became Leo Baker's.
I see. So it did change. How about the El Encanto Hotel? Did the Rosines own that then?
Yes,
They were pretty active around the community too.
they sure were.
They know a lot about
Del
business.
Taquis was the place, so in those days.
Was it really?
Oh yeah, had good food and dancing, and it was quite a place. It was jumping, especially during World War II.
A lot of soldiers went there. A lot of them.
Every hotel was taken over during the war. Every hotel. It was either an enlisted man's hotel or it was a officers. They just took over everything. El Dorado was an enlisted man's during the war.
That's true. How about the Beachcomber? Was it in business then?
Don the Beachcomber?
No, the Beachcomber
The
store with the
Beachcomber
beach
store?
bar?
No, that wasn't in. That came in at about.
I was thinking of Adrian Rosen.
Well,
No.
Stan Jaloff had it first, and they built that. I would guess around about 55. That building, I don't know. Henry Frank would know exactly when it was built because his father-in-law built it.
Stan Jaloff, that's not a name I've heard before.
Stan Jaloff started the Beachcomber.
Was he in business here before then, or?
Well, he was from Oregon. He's still around town, and he's from Oregon. And when they built that building on the corner of Taquis McCallum and Palm Canyon Drive, he took the corner store and completely fixtured it in a Polynesian atmosphere and opened the Beachcomber. And I believe about 10 or 12 years later, he sold it to Adrian Rosen.
So that
Adrian had those bag shops down next to the theater called Adrian's, handbags and gifts and all that type of thing.
where was the bank when you first went into business? Do you remember?
Bank of America?
Yeah, was it?
It was across from the Desert Inn.
It was right across the street from the Desert Inn.
Mm-hmm. It's where Hillis Furs is now.
Where Hillsford is. Right, I remember that. It was still there when I came to town. That was a lot later.
Yeah.
It really was.
They didn't move into the Desert Inn Fashion Plaza until about 1967 or 68.
Were they the only bank then?
They were the original bank, and then after that there's the Desert Bank formed down here, and then the Desert Bank, I believe, was sold to Citizens Bank, and then Citizens Bank was sold to Security Bank, and Herb Sampson was the manager of the Desert Bank, and then went with Security Bank.
He'd been around a long time, hadn't
Yes.
he? I imagine the bank was pretty important in your business in those days too.
Oh yes. Without a bank, you just couldn't do business.
Was the basic method of financing your operation pretty much the same though as it is now?
Well, yes. In those days, you had to have a banker on your, you might say in your back pocket, because you wouldn't be able to pay your bills unless you had somebody that had trust in you. So today the operation is quite a bit different, because I guess after so many years in the business, you're able to build your own reserves and able to operate, you know, without their assistance.
That's true. Well, Gerry, this has been fun. I've enjoyed chatting with you and your mom about those early days. Miss Maloof, I want to thank you for taking time
Thank you.
to share this with us and inviting us into your home, or me and my camera, and for sharing with the people at the library these experiences and memories you have. Palm Springs has been pretty good to you, hasn't it?
Very good to us.
us.
Palm Springs has been good to us, and we try to be good to Palm Springs. Try to buy everything we can in Palm Springs. We try to, you know, we just don't go anywhere else.
That's true. Well, thank you.
Thank you.